Hello and welcome back to Courtside. I'm Andrew Cohen, joined along by Mike Randall, Sam Pausman. How you guys doing today?
I'm good, Andrew. How are you?
Doing well, and Sam over here doing his best Patrick Beverly irritant impersonation, trying to get himself choked out.
I think you threatened me before we press record.
About. I challenged you to a friendly
wrestle.
I guess you could put it that way.
We could do like a death cage.
I think we just do like kickboxing.
I kick. That's my one thing.
Kicking? Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
I don't think you got the flexibility in the hammies anymore.
I don't think Andrew saw this coming.
Been retired for a long time.
Oh, because you've got those real flexible hammies.
Better than yours. Been sitting on the couch for a year.
You're still pretty flexible. You can't even sit crisscross applesauce.
That's not my hammies. That's my hips.
Well, how do you think you get it up?
Dude, I can kick my head. I can kick my foot like above my head.
No, you can't.
Yes, I am.
Do you have a foot high kick contest when we get off?
We can absolutely have a foot high kick contest.
Loser has to buy a pub meal.
Fine.
Andrew will be the judge.
But the way we're going to do it is we stand in front of each other, and whoever can kick each other farther in the face wins.
This feels like a terrible idea. Andrew, why don't you introduce our guest?
Yes, we have buried the lead. This week, we have our friend of the show, Marc Rosenthal, is here with us. How are you, Marc?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking, Andrew.
Of course, we're very excited to have you on.
I've been excited about this appearance for a while. I've wanted to be here since I heard it was a thing. Now I'm here. Feels great.
I'm so glad. And unfortunately, the U.S. men's national team lost. That's the number one story of the week. Sam, what happened?
You want to know what happened?
I want to know what happened.
I'll plug my Twitter real fast, at Sam Pausman, Pausman, if you want some more detailed threads on this. But essentially what happened...
Don't follow him on Twitter. It's just him crying about Germany losing, too.
That was pretty sad. I'm up to 171 followers, for those counting at home.
I have more than that.
Damn, kudos.
Dang.
I'm not going to plug it, though, because I don't have my name attached to it for, like, job reasons.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Anyway. I thought what happened was... The Netherlands came out with a superior... This is where my pen was. It's been here since the last time we came here. Fuck.
Hey, what did I say? I said in the first 5 minutes of the next episode, someone's going to swear because we didn't do it the entire episode last time.
Okay, we got to get on track. This has been really chaotic.
What's the World Cup? What's going on with... Why did the men's national team lose?
Can I just say I loved this team. Everyone is kind of clowning Dest and Anthony Robinson, our two outside backs. They play with so much passion and love, and they're fearless, and they're young, and I love it.
Okay, but they're like running around like a chicken with their head cut off.
The reason for that, though, is because the entire match, the Netherlands' attack was from the wide areas with Gakpo and Memphis. And for whatever reason, Greg Berhalter decided it wouldn't be smart to have our fullbacks covered defensively, and he used them as like additional wingers because our other wingers couldn't really do anything once he took way off.
I was seeing that with the wingers.
Yeah.
I was picking up on that.
Yeah, you're definitely picking up on that, weren't you? I mean, Louis van Gaal said after the game, he's the Netherlands manager. Someone asked him what happened, and he said the United States just didn't adjust. And that's been the issue with Berhalter since day one, is he's actually just not a very smart manager. Like, you can say he's a good man manager, like he does the player relationships well. But at halftime, like, I think we were one of the worst statistical teams in second halves because everyone adjusts and we don't. Mark, what do you think?
I mean, it was obviously pretty sad. I thought we got killed on counterattacks, and they kind of let us have a lot more possession because they know that we, like, don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because we don't really have people who can score that way because of how the team is coached and how he plays the nine up top. And I don't know. It was really depressing to watch.
The Jesus Ferreira false nine was baffling.
Terrible.
Like,
he was like invisible.
If you want to use him as like a true center forward, fine. Just go. He'll be your big body. But if you want him to like be involved in link up play, like that was so bad, so bad.
Did not work at all.
I gotta ask.
Yeah.
What happened to Pulisic in that match?
Christian Pulisic looks like he's 35 years old coming off an ACL injury, and it's terrifying because he's 24 now.
Yes.
We saw some flashes. I asked my dad at one point during a group stage match. I was like, "What can Pulisic do at this point in his career?" And his answer was, "I don't know," because I legitimately he can draw fouls pretty well, like get you free kicks in dangerous areas if you're looking for that. Now, the one thing that I'm not going to kind of dump on him for is we rarely saw a situation where the U.S. played Aronson at the 10 and Pulisic out wide. And I think Pulisic is at his best when he can go one-on-one in the wide areas against someone, and he can have someone else kind of run the show in all facets of the match. And because of the U.S. played a 3-player midfield with a single deep line pivot playmaker, whatever you want to call it, and then 2 box-to-box players. So there was no true attacking midfielder. We tried it with Yunus Musa, and it was a terrible idea. We ended up moving like McKinney wide. It was very bizarre. But that area was never really filled. It was just kind of the other midfielders were moving into it when they needed to. If you have someone that can stay there and stick there, which you have in Aronson, who realistically is the best American player right now, and he's not starting, which not only just fills that void, but it takes 90% of the workload off Pulisic. He doesn't have to play like he has the weight of the country on his shoulders, which I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself to do that.
So that was bizarre how when Greg brought in Gio and Brendan, he put them at each other's best position.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That was like the other thing with the tactics. Like Aronson's been playing unbelievably well the whole season, like up top, and Gio at mid, and he decided he was going to play Gio at a wing and Brendan at midfield, which he can do. But Gio was he did not look good at the wing.
Gio looked lost.
Yeah, which was tough for me and everyone else who had been complaining about him getting like 5 minutes of playing time the rest of the World Cup, because then when he went in, he didn't really do anything.
Totally. That's what we were saying. I was like, Andrew, why is this guy just looking like what's he really adding to the team right now? It was a little Yunus Musa-y, where you can tell he's a very good player.
Yes.
But like he's not a guy you can just give the ball and he'll create something.
Right.
And that was my issue with the Musa selection too. Was like we don't need another guy that's just not going to make mistakes, but he's also not going to create a goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah, true.
That felt like the U.S. team as a whole. They're solid, but they're not spectacular, except in that. In goal, Matt Turner's fantastic. But
Matt Turner was brilliant. But the thing is, everyone has kind of realized, and this is a fault on Berhalter, is since the World Cup, Sergino Dest, it got announced today that Milan are looking to sign him on a permanent deal for $20 million. Anthony
Not
Robinson.
It's euros.
Thank you. Anthony Robinson is looking to secure a €15 million deal with Newcastle. I thought I saw something where Tyler Adams is being linked to Chelsea.
That'd be crazy.
A lot of our players are now, they kind of had breakout World Cups, but we're almost held back by the tactics, which is not good retrospectively.
Sounds like we need a new coach.
Yeah. Do you know how he got the job?
How do you get the job?
Sam's passionate about this.
Hate this guy. Better than Bruce Arena. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Because at least he's calling up the right players to the World Cup.
Yeah. Well, I think he left out some bad people.
That's fair.
Pepe and Pifak, because they could have.
The Pepe one was baffling.
That was terrible.
He's like our young striker who's supposed to be the next bigger thing.
it feels
he got left off?
Yeah.
It feels like Berhalter doesn't really like strikers.
It seems not.
It feels
He doesn't seem to put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
But Balogun, who currently plays for Arsenal,
Yeah.
he was born in, I think he was born in New York City, but his parents are both British. He's played with the British youth system, but now he's decided, he just not announced it, got leaked that he's like kind of leaning towards flipping his nationality to the U.S.
Everyone was freaking out because he reposted the like man of the match Matt Turner thing on his story, and everyone was kind of like, I don't know, I think it's just because they're teammates at Arsenal, but like everyone was really excited because they're like, he might be coming to the U.S. team.
But the way he got the job was he was coaching, and I'm probably wrong on details here, in the second division Finnish league. It was a random Scandinavian league. He then got fired because he wasn't playing an attacking enough brand of just a style of play. Was out of a job until his brother was put in charge of...
This is Berhalter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Until his brother was put in charge of selecting the next coach for the U.S. men's national team.
Oh, jeez. Give me a break.
Yeah.
That's how he got the job?
Yeah.
So I just have one thought on this, just because it connects to something that I talking point I heard elsewhere in sports the other day, and the question was, if you want to be a successful coach long-term in professional sports, do you have to be a genius X's and O's wise and tactically, or is it enough to be a leader of men, a motivator, if you can hire the right people to put around you? And the point I heard, and I thought it was a good one, was that option B, being a leader, motivator, player's coach, is great and that can lead to short-term success, getting out of the group stage. What we saw in the NFL with the Raiders last year, where an interim coach comes in and can kind of galvanize the troops. But over the long haul, you have to tactically and X's and O's wise be effective, or you're just not going to have any staying power. And that's exactly what this sounds like. Like, we just ran into a ceiling because our coach, how do you not adjust? This is the highest level of soccer in the world. How do you not adjust at halftime? Like, I don't know anything about soccer. Everything you just said to me went over my head, except that I watched the game and I could tell we were trying the same thing over and over again, just slamming our heads against the wall. Like, you didn't feel like they were that much. I'm sure Netherlands are definitely more talented and a more developed program, but athletically and speed-wise, it didn't feel like we were overmatched on the pitch at all. Like, it just felt like every opportunity they had was clean, concise, and they capitalized on it. Ours was just kind of a mess.
And to your point, that's what it's felt like in the past. Like, Mark, you can probably attest to this, where, like, in the days of, like, Josie Altidore, they'd collect a pass and it would just bounce off them.
Right.
Like, there was no touch. We finally had that like, professional level of touch this year.
Finally sent pro soccer players. That's a good thing.
The non-MLS guys.
Yeah.
The one game that we outright won featured 0 MLS players in the starting lineup.
Shockingly, what booted us out of the World Cup was when we started a 21-year-old striker from FC Dallas.
It was really bad for him.
The commentators loved it, though.
They did. That was insane.
He has really good hair.
He did.
That's what I like about him.
That was wild, though. The American commentators, David Villa, who's like a legend for Spain.
Yeah.
Played for Barcelona, won Champions Leagues with Messi. They showed him in a booth watching one of the matches, and like Alexi Lawless or Landon Donovan, whoever it was like, Marcus showing us pictures of his hair. Whoever the commentator was like, oh, there's David Villa, formerly of NYCFC of the MLS. And we're like, really? That's World Cup winner, 2-time Euro winner.
Right.
I also I didn't even know that was part of the MLS, but I know Barcelona's a team. Like,
yeah. Like the thing is, no one in the American audience is like, oh, Austin FC. Austin has a team now. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like,
I don't know though. I think there's something like, at least like Atlanta people love Atlanta United. Like, the soccer fans in Atlanta are really into United in a way that, like, I think we were watching the first game, the Wales game, and they showed a dude in the audience who happened to be wearing like an Atlanta United hat, and everybody went crazy at the bar we were watching it at. Like, I don't know. So I think there's like something to it, but like,
Atlanta also probably has the best soccer culture in the U.S.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Like, far and away.
It's so cool how people love it.
Did you hear the announcer gaffe the other day during the Brazil game?
Okay, so he said thumped, allegedly.
All right. Since you already broke the FCC violation, I'm going to go ahead and say it. But it sounded like the announcer calling the Brazil game said something along the lines of, and the last time Brazil experienced a loss was when they got fucked by Germany in Brazil in 2014.
And the other commentator just went dead quiet.
It sounded like emphasis. Like, it was crazy. I totally believe you that that's not what he said. It was, I mean,
he's right.
He's right. That's what happened. Thump doesn't tell the story. It was 7-1 in Brazil. But
put up a touchdown in the semifinal in Brazil.
In Brazil. Broke the hearts.
They look like a wagon right now.
Oh my god.
Oh my Brazil. They dance after every
I
goal.
love the dancing.
This is the team. These are the teams that win World Cups. It's the teams that just play for fun.
They look so good.
Like, you watch Germany play this World Cup, and you could tell there was pressure on all of their shoulders, and now they're out of it. When you watch Brazil play, they just play with fluidity and brilliance.
The fact that every player has played is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. That they can play every single guy they brought there, even like all 3 goalies.
They were up, however, what was it, 5-1, 4-1?
I think it was 4-1.
And their manager subbed off their starting goalie for their 3rd-string goalie. So every player called up for the World Cup could tell their kids that they played.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Right?
That's pretty cool.
And it's not like he's a bad goalie, but it's just like not something you would ever do.
But because I was watching the, of course, Cameroon-Brazil match. Cameroon won that one, by the way, which we called.
We did.
But Brazil was playing their entire second stringers. Mm-hmm. And I'm just watching like, oh my God, these guys are so good. And it's the second stringers, which is crazy.
Yeah.
They do feel like a bit of a wagon.
They do
but they'll play Messi and that'll be that. But
they'll play the GOAT.
Yeah.
Fair.
The GOAT.
But it'll be a fun ride until then. Let's talk about Morocco, Spain real quick. Big upset.
I loved it.
That was incredible.
Yeah, that wasn't good for us, was it?
it was
Me
good.
and Andrew specifically.
And on the one bracket we did end up doing that's not good for us. We had Spain in the final. But Morocco's defense looked really good. They looked really good. Could they beat Portugal?
Before today, I would have said they could have beat Portugal. Before watching the Portugal game. This weird no-star version of Portugal is bizarre. Like, they play so just in sync with one another. And I think the reason because of that is I love Ronaldo, and I love João Cancelo, and I love Rafael Leao.
I don't love Ronaldo.
All his players. Okay. But they all play kind of an isolating style, which works well at the club level, but for international, you need more of that like Brazilian, Moroccan team level of fluidity. And when you put in these younger players that kind of have the drive to do that instead of just go out and win their one-on-one matchups, then you beat a team like Switzerland who's really good in these tournaments. Like they made a run in the Euro in 2020. You beat them 5-1 or 6-1 or however much it was.
So it's a little Ewing theory.
It's a little Ewing.
Just going to say that.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a little Ewing theory.
So how disrespectful was it that they put Ronaldo in up 5-1?
Well, they put him in the 70th minute, which is when you make substitutions.
No, I know, but like
The fact they put him in.
yeah, the
is
fact that they
funny.
were like, "Hey, buddy, you can go get some cardio now."
Yeah.
They put in one of their subs went on and scored in like the 94th minute.
I saw that.
It was one of the guys subbed on
Yeah,
too, so he was just
that's
relentless.
hilarious.
Yeah.
And didn't the guy who went in for Ronaldo get a hat trick?
Yeah, he's
Gonçalo Ramos.
Yeah.
Benfica.
Yeah.
21 years old.
Portuguese league.
No one followed this guy, and he just drops a hattie. And I guarantee you, someone's going to spend $80 million on
followed
him this
him.
summer.
My story is I'm a Southampton fan. They're a really bad Premier League team. They're 19th right now out of 20. Probably going to get relegated. And the two big striker targets, because like the U.S. team, can't score, were Ramos on Portugal and Gakpo on Netherlands, the dude who's had 3-4 goals. So I knew about him, almost got him, but they didn't want to come play for the bad Southampton team. And now they're going to get bought for like 80, 100 million.
Yeah, they're pricing themselves out.
Yeah.
So are we sure that soccer primes are not like 19 to 24? I feel like every time I hear about some crazy feat in soccer, it's like, oh yeah, and he's 20 years old.
It's
Or
because
he's 21.
the biggest transfer fees are for players in that age group.
Because you got to go for it, or else
Yeah.
you won't be able to.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Because a lot of times at that level, you can it's before they've broken out or as they're breaking out, so they're not going to demand crazy weekly wages. So you can spend more on the front end and still save money long term.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And also, soccer contracts are between like 3 and 5 years. So by the time that contract expires, they could be looking at a lot more money.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. So you had Brazil beating Portugal in the final. Do you think that's still
I
going to
still
hold up?
think that's going to happen.
What about France?
I have them losing to England.
France, really?
Losing to England.
Wow.
To England?
Yeah.
God,
Looks
couldn't get any more unpatriotic.
yeah. Looks
Pick
like
England to win the group. Pick them to beat France, our loyal
Yeah.
allies who helped us gain our independence,
Yes.
Sam. But
Yep.
no, you cast them aside for the Brits.
You understand that we have like a shared military with England right now?
I don't care.
I didn't know
yeah.
that.
I didn't know that, and I don't care. And do
I
we
care-
really?
Yes.
Like,
Well, it's 90% us.
Yeah, we're
they're-
just helping
okay.
them
So
out.
they're
'cause they're
mooching.
little brother.
Like, we're not going to attack
Yeah.
them, obviously. I'm not like
Yeah.
saying
Little bro.
that. We might have to bail them out again. We've done that a couple times.
Yeah, to be clear, the only reason that Sam
One
is
Big
beating
Ten.
us right now in our brackets is because he took England to win Group B over Team USA.
And we're not idiots.
It's not Team USA.
We're not
This
idiots.
isn't the Olympics.
USMNT.
We're not idiots. Like, we understand England's a better soccer country.
Yeah.
We're Americans. We're patriots.
I'm a
We had
communist.
faith in our guys. This
Yeah.
team.
What are you
were
calling me, a
raving
Tory?
about.
I
All
kind
these
of- I
youngsters
agree.
you're telling are
Yeah.
running around, showing all this energy. They didn't even
Yeah.
lose to England.
They didn't.
No, they didn't.
There was never any doubt they were not going to lose to England.
I never thought we would lose to England.
And so what you're telling us is that
I
you
might have.
came into the tournament and were like, they're either going to lose to England or you thought they weren't. And you're like, they're going to lose another match.
It was because I overvalued Wales.
All right, you call it overvaluing Wales. I call it being unpatriotic, un-American, anti-capitalist. I mean, like all of it. We have this team that you're so excited about. Today, you say you never doubted we would beat England, but you thought we'd lose to Wales. Isn't Wales like the little baby brother of England? Like, who are they? Our militia from Bunker Hill could probably beat them right now. Like, what are we talking about? Absolute garbage. The fact that you're going to win the pool because of that, it just makes
I'm not going to win the pool because
yes, you are.
I'm going to win the pool because Brazil's going to win the World Cup.
You're going to win the pool. No, because Argentina's going to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
Then you
But
guys
we don't have
should
to
win
worry
handily.
about that.
Yeah.
You're going to win the pool because you didn't have the balls to pick the United States to win the group stage. Just be okay with it.
Yeah.
Just like,
I love that I was
that's
right.
what you did.
I love that I was right.
Do you?
I do.
You wouldn't rather
Hold on a
have been
second.
American? So you're happy that
Yeah.
England, Britain, whatever they call themselves,
It's
crossed the pond.
What's the Ted Lasso quote? How many countries are in this country?
Yeah.
4.
Thanks, Mark.
Too many countries. Should be one country. If they were the British Empire, I was taught that it would be one country.
At one point,
We were able to wrangle the South back in. I don't know what they're doing over there.
What do you guys think about Scottish?
Are you
and
telling them they
Irish
should
nationalism?
recolonize Africa?
No, they're a little mud puddle of an island over there that they have.
Upside down
Can't
Westeros?
even handle like something the size of Texas.
Hey, the potatoes stop growing. All of a sudden, everything stops.
What?
What?
The Irish potato famine.
Oh, right.
Oh, history
right,
major.
Right. Yeah.
It's not very tasteful.
The point is,
Whatever, man.
Neither were the potatoes.
the point is, Sam is probably going to win the World Cup bracket
So,
because he chose England to beat the U.S.
that's
And
just
for
not
no other reason.
mathematically. That is just not the reason.
No,
why.
it is because then they end up on different sides of the bracket and you
Here
get
we
the
go.
matchups right.
This sounds like someone that picked Cameroon to make a semifinal run.
If Croatia held a 2-1 lead
Someone
over
has to
Switzerland,
believe.
Someone
Cameroon
has-
was getting
Hey,
there.
Samuel Eto'o had Cameroon winning it.
Someone has to believe.
Morocco's going to win. Argentina's going to beat Brazil. Argentina's going to win it all. And then maybe we'll have a chance. I haven't checked the
Messi
score.
will cement himself as the GOAT. Well,
Argentina has to get past Netherlands
crybaby
first.
CR7 over there just sulks on the sideline.
What happened to you?
I don't know. I'm like suddenly like very, very strongly on the Messi side of this GOAT debate.
Ever since you learned that he passes the ball?
Yeah, literally since
Yeah,
I learned he passes the
Schnalda.
ball. Because now it's like LeBron and Kobe, and we know where I stand on that. Kobe's
There
a
you go.
killer. All the respect in the world. LeBron's just a better basketball player. Messi's a better soccer player.
It's fair.
I'm a Maradona guy.
Are you?
Yeah, I love him.
So does Mike.
Yeah, I'm a big Maradona guy.
He's cool.
Apparently, he was just like dishing him out, just coked out of his mind.
Oh, yeah.
A big fan of that.
Yeah.
Shout out Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Greatest giant of all
Yeah.
time.
All right. With that, we wrap up our World Cup segment and we move on to the NBA, which we haven't talked about in a while.
Wait, we could talk about real sports now?
Because nothing beats the pinnacle of world sport than some nice November NBA.
It's December now, Sam.
Sorry.
It is basketball, though.
It is basketball.
Hoops.
Like this World Cup thing, it's
Hoops.
cute for a few weeks. Yeah, we get back to some real stuff.
And then like a Monday night Memphis Grizzlies, Memphis Hustle Miami Heat game.
So Mark's a big Grizzlies fan. The biggest Grizzlies fan I know.
Yeah, probably that most people know
Yeah.
that aren't from Memphis.
The West is wide open right now.
Yeah.
Why the
Hashtag
why the
wild,
Grizzlies?
wild
Why
West.
the Grizzlies? Why would they get to the finals?
Why the Grizzlies? Well, if you look at the numbers and how many games players have missed, you might be surprised looking at the Grizzlies' high standing in the West. I think 3. We're 15-9, I believe. Second most games missed by players. If you look, Desmond Bane was making a case to be an all-star at the beginning of the season. Unbelievable. He kind of struggled the most right after he went out. Couldn't really adjust. He looked like our best player, I think, for a little bit. He hasn't been back in a month or so. Haven't had Zaire Williams all season, which isn't the biggest loss. Jaren missed the first couple weeks. When we're all back, we haven't had a game with Jaren, Desmond Bane, Ja, Zaire Williams. Still, we haven't had the whole lineup there, and we're still managing to kind of coast by. None of these wins have been all that impressive, but we're doing the right thing, waiting for it to come together. And that's kind of what we did last year. In the same way we had lots of injuries. We had the whole thing where Ja was out and the Grizzlies were 24-3 without him, and everyone was like, they're better without Ja, and it got me really upset. But, you know, I think we proved last season we can turn it on when it matters in the second half of the season. Maybe not in the playoffs, but in the second half of the season. And I think if we, you know, keep up the consistency, everyone will get healthy and we'll look really good.
So what would you say is the difference between this year and last year?
I think that the difference is the player development, and that's something that the Grizzlies do particularly well. And last season it was with Zaire Williams, who didn't particularly look all that good the season before. Wait, no, never mind. I'm talking Desmond Bane last season. Didn't look all that good the season before. He looked good. He took a crazy leap last season. Looks like part of a big three. Everybody was kind of thinking, you know, it's Ja, Jaren, obviously, and they're like, I don't know, maybe Dylan Brooks. Last season, Desmond Bane showed he is part of that big three. I think like he looked like he meant more than Jaren the past when he was playing. And then you plug in Santi Aldama, who I thought at the beginning of last season shouldn't be on an NBA roster. Like that's somebody that you shouldn't know who it is.
Mark,
he
who
puts
is this
up
guy?
Santi Aldama, Slim Spain, the nickname made because he's skinny and from Spain, unlike Marc Gasol, who's our big Spain. Santi Aldama puts up I like he averages probably like I'm gonna say like 10 and 8 maybe. Like he puts up numbers.
This man averages 10 points in the NBA.
He is really good.
Does he actually?
He's catching these backwards lobs from Ja Morant. Like he looked at the Summer League last season. We traded up to draft this guy at 30. I was like, who is this? Summer League, he goes something like 3 for 50. Like I think they told him like shoot everything you get, like just get loose. Didn't make more than 3 shots. I was like, he sucks. He had that game last season. I'm getting too esoteric, but he had a game last season where we sat everybody against the Suns, who did their like little cute tunnel thing where they like dance around and say like lost to the team that Santi Aldama had this crazy like backwards dunk on them. We won by like 15 with sitting all of our starters. He looks really good this year, and it's the Grizzlies can take a guy like that who has no reason to be that. No, I'm not gonna say that good, but no reason to be good, and make him good. I think that the difference between this and last season, because, we traded Kyle Anderson, or we let him walk. We traded DeAnthony Melton. We lost a lot of depth, but we have all these rookies this year who I think like are already looking way better. Like David Roddy looked really bad at the beginning of the season, and he's becoming a little more passable. Like his field goal percentage is going way up. Just getting numbers, getting minutes on the rookies. Jake LaRavia, David Roddy. Kennedy Chandler looked really good last night because, he never plays, but Ja was out, so he played. I think getting minutes from the rookies is going to make the team better.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I feel like Memphis has one of the highest floors in basketball just because they have so many, like if you're a championship team, they have so many guys where like if they're your third best player, you're in a really good spot.
Yeah.
Is there a point where you're like, oh, if I see this, then I would consider maybe moving Triple J and another one of those guys to get Ja a second true star?
Yeah.
Or do you think if you kind of run it with this iteration of the roster, you'll find success?
That's something to think about because there's a big like Grizzlies fan thing about KD. Just whenever a KD rumor comes up, there's something about like, maybe we throw like some people say, what about Jaren, Desmond Bane, and 2 firsts? And some people are like, I'll give them Danny Green, Dylan Brooks, and a second round pick because they're like, I would never trade the core. I think you have to give it 2 years. And then you talk about that because people are only getting better.
Yeah.
Like I think Dylan Brooks, I love him, I hate him. You have to love him and hate him because he thinks he's the best player on the court at all times. But I think that something could be done. Like it's just very like I'm not confident that they're gonna be a huge contender, but I'm confident they'll make the playoffs. I'm confident we can make a run farther than we did last year. But I think 2 years and then you talk about moving people for like a KD type because it has to be. You can't be making a move for like just any all-star.
Like
if you're
you
making
can't bring
a move,
in Bradley Beal.
You cannot bring Bradley
Beal
is not who we want. People are talking right now, which is nothing like the big star, but everyone's like, why don't you try to go for Reddish? Like, why don't you make a little bit of a play for Cam Reddish, see if because he's not playing on the Knicks. Like, but yeah, I would say give it some time. I think based on how it went last season, based on the constant upward trajectory, I think feeling out how it feels with a healthy Grizzlies team, because we haven't had that in a little bit. How it feels this season, they could be real contenders in the way that like NBA finals. I don't know. When I see the NBA finals with the Grizzlies, which hopefully will be this season, like that would be. I would say maybe they can do it.
Interesting.
I like that.
Now, Mike, I feel like you are going to disagree with this, not because of the Grizzlies and who they are, but because of your favorite team. They've been your favorite team for a while now, those Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, yeah, my lengthy Lakers fandom.
Yeah.
Well,
by the way, hashtag Year of Russ.
you're not getting me to say the Lakers are title contenders, if that's what you're trying to do.
I was trying to get you to say
Gotcha
right.
journalism.
Now, they look drastically better recently. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're only like 3.
That's 80%.
Look, man, they're
Math.
They're 10-12 right now. They might lose to the Cavs tonight because Anthony Davis is out with the flu. He has legitimately been the best player on the planet over this 10-game stretch. I'm not making that as an overall statement, but in this stretch, it's like undeniable. This is the AD that we Sam.
Hey Disney.
You're really asking for it right now. This is the AD we were expecting to take over the reins from LeBron after the bubble championship. And if he does, it allows LeBron to play the playmaker kind of under control, play at his own pace, and then pick and choose his spots where he wants to take over. That game in Milwaukee is a perfect example. Anthony Davis goes toe-to-toe with Giannis. They both have 40-point games. Anthony Davis plays out of his mind. But what it allows LeBron to do is kind of coast through the first 3 quarters and then drop 15 in the fourth quarter and win a close game against Milwaukee in Milwaukee. That's probably the statement win of the season in the league right now. Russell Westbrook, all the credit to him. I've said on this podcast a few times, I've been highly critical, but I've always said I'm going to keep rooting for him. I hope he's able to figure it out. This move to the bench has been fantastic. Now, he's not shooting well, but he hasn't ever been an efficient field goal shooter. The turnovers are not crushing. The assists are generally where you want him to be. They're going to be in the 6 to 10 range with him coming off the bench. But he's fitting a little bit better. Like the basketball is moving. People are getting shots. I said on the podcast during that awful stretch to begin the season, the shooting would regress to the mean, and in doing so would go up. The shooting was not going to stay that bad. They are NBA players. Lonnie Walker's looked great for them. That was a really sneaky pickup. Patrick Beverley should not be playing NBA basketball. He's one of the worst players in the league. Like the metrics and stats bear that out. He's awful. But Austin Reeves is playing his role very well. Yeah. They're still probably a shooter or two away. I still would not hesitate to move Russ. If anything, his stock is going up.
They're a shooter away and they cut Matt Ryan.
I now, but Matt Ryan's basically unplayable if you're getting anything that's resembling NBA offense because he can't play defense, right? So I still wouldn't hesitate to move Russ, but I'm no longer at the spot where if they don't move Russ, the season's an absolute failure. The reality of the West right now, we're going to get to it, is the Lakers are 3 games out of the 4 seed. With
That's crazy.
60 to play, now health is going to be the big thing, and I've been on that for a long time. But Anthony Davis keeps this level of assertiveness. We know the talent's there. It's just the assertiveness. If he keeps playing like he is, and I think it's sustainable. He's done it in previous seasons, especially in New Orleans. And LeBron James is able to stay healthy and play the style of basketball he wants to play at this stage in his career. I think undoubtedly in the Western Conference they're in right now, they're a playoff team, at least a play-in team, and then they're dangerous. Like, we're just talking about Memphis. I think Memphis is easily one of the best teams in the West right now. Memphis doesn't scare me. I don't have much faith in Memphis once we get deep, right? Ja Morant, the injury issues are always going to concern me. Jaren Jackson and Dylan Brooks just melt down in the playoffs regularly. So that's just – and I didn't mean to come after Memphis because all the top teams have issues like that.
Yep.
There's no team that you look at and you're like, well, you're just drawing dead. You're not drawing dead against anybody with Anthony Davis and LeBron James playing at a high level. All the teams we thought were going to be good, I think we talked about Clippers, Mavs, and Warriors as the big 3, maybe the Nuggets. Only one of those teams is really playing up to their potential right now.
Couldn't you say that the drop dead is that those guys will inevitably get hurt?
LeBron and Anthony Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah, if that happens, yes. I'm saying if they're able to make it to the end of the season without that and get into a playoff or play-in scenario,
that's fair.
And they're on the court, you're not drawing dead. there's at least the puncher's chance there. You can't argue there isn't with Anthony Davis playing at this level. So it's great. It's improving my my NBA mood, if you will. Like I'm willing to pay attention to the league right now. It's not just demoralizing.
I was gonna say I liked Mike Randall the regular season basketball.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a new version of
It's a big change. I realized I might have to watch some regular season ball because LeBron might be all I get to see. He's going to pass Kareem at some point this season. It might not be the only notable thing that happens for them. So I still think there have been a couple of trades passed around with those couple of draft picks with Russell Westbrook. I think if you can move Russ, if you move the picks, I think you still do it. I think Anthony Davis is showing you he's ready to be a bus driver and a champion. LeBron James would be the greatest number 2 of all time if that's the role he's taking. No, seriously. He's your number 2. You can't tell me he can't pick and choose when to give you a 35-piece in a playoff game.
Yeah.
He absolutely still has that in him, and he shows it when he needs to. I think you can start making win-now moves with a little bit more confidence. Hey, Anthony Davis is taking on the assertiveness in the role that we wanted him to. I think if you can package Beverly and Kendrick Nunn, throw in a draft pick, and go get – it doesn't have to be a great player. Right? It's just spacing. Even to get Patrick Beverly off the roster. Like, it's just – we're at that point now where I've gone from get Russ off the roster at all costs to just get that little pest off. He's just so bad. He doesn't do anything. He tricks everyone, man. Like, Russ wasn't lying to us, man. Like, he doesn't guard anything. We're joking around about Jason Tatum. Pat Bev was on his podcast like, I figured out Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum averages 35 against you, bro. Like, that's like, if he misses a few shots, that's not figuring him out. Like, you have to have an impact on the game, on the outcome. So, I don't know. A lot more, I like where I'm at. A lot more positivity. I can direct all my frustration and focus and hatred on someone who deserves it in that little worm. But things are looking up in Laker land.
Yes.
I just hope for basketball's sake they stay healthy. That's all.
It's one of your shorter Lakers segments.
Well, yeah, it's all good. All good things to talk about.
Happy-go-lucky Mike Randall.
Yeah, I'm glad you're with me on #Year of Russ.
Andrew, it's not the year of Russ because it can be the year of Russell Westbrook.
It's not the year of Russell Westbrook either.
Yeah.
He's like a solid bench player now.
This is exactly what I was but it's so much better than last year.
Oh, it's so much better.
Were you actually like really high on Russell Wilson?
Yes.
He was like, I've had a whole #Year of Russ campaign.
Well, yeah, but like I thought that like might partially be like satirical after they both.
Well, I mean, I've kept it going. But I about 2 games into the season for the Broncos, I realized, oh no.
But it was like before the NFL, like, what are you looking forward to? And you were like Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad. It's a tough one.
Well, because the Broncos were always just this like good team, 500, but they had a terrible quarterback.
Right.
And they finally got the quarterback.
They're still a quarterback.
And now they have a terrible coach.
They're still a quarterback away. And a coach
Anyways.
Sorry to derail.
That's all right. So it's a wide open West.
The West is crazy.
Somehow the Suns are leading it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You look at them and you're like, really? Like, I think no one's scared of the Suns because every time they get a matchup with the Mavericks,
they
just get torn apart.
What happened last night?
They did it again.
I mean,
Booker's just.
I think most teams could beat the Suns. Like, I feel like you get the Suns in a 7-game series, you're like, all right, it's not.
Especially with the recent information about Chris Paul. I mean, it really
lowers your makes sense why he hasn't been winning in the playoffs now.
Yeah,
it does.
The curse.
Yeah. I think unless something changes, a la like major moves out west for a team, for maybe the Mavericks, maybe the Warriors get right. The NBA Finals is going to be the Eastern Conference Finals when Boston meets Milwaukee. And we've had that scenario in the West for a while now.
Yep.
In past years where you knew whoever's coming out of that conference was winning the title. It's just going to be that in the East.
Low-key not complaining about that because those first 6 games in the Boston-Milwaukee series last season was some of like the highest level of basketball played since the Golden State LeBron.
And then Marcus Smart interjected in there and brought the level of basketball down quite a bit. But it was very entertaining.
It was a great series.
Game 6 basketball. It's not necessarily the
Game 6 was high level.
Game 6 was incredible.
Yep.
Game 7,
incredible as well.
You want to talk about not adjusting?
Grant.
Burt Hall just watched Coach Bud coach in playoffs. I was like, you know what? That guy won a title. I don't need to adjust.
Yeah.
That was good, man.
Good. If you had to choose one team to get out of the West right now.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Do it so good.
I'll give you one.
Who's yours?
The Nuggets.
I almost said
Nuggets.
that. I might say that.
I was super high on the Nuggets coming into the year. They haven't done anything to like dissuade me from picking them. Clippers aren't healthy. I just can't trust the Lakers for a full season. I don't trust the Suns.
God, the West stinks.
Jeez.
I have to ride with my guys.
Yeah.
Really.
Fair enough.
Because I mean, it's anyone's.
Yeah.
That's as good
Why
a
not
pick as
us?
any.
You know, why
yeah,
not us?
exactly.
Right?
Like it's
Most Kings. I really like the
I
Kings.
love the Kings.
I love the Kings.
I love the Kings so much.
I think that I would
Like the
not
beam.
be. Yeah, I love the beam. I
The
like.
beam
I didn't
is
know
so
what that
funny.
was at first. Like I
Yeah.
thought it was just like a thing that they
Light the
said.
beam.
Yeah.
And then somebody, was it one of you who told me? No, somebody else told me what that actually was. Might have been Jonathan. And that's crazy to me that they let them do that.
Yeah.
Like Sacramento is like a real city.
I
It's
feel like
not
NASA
like
would have something to
Yeah.
say.
yeah.
right. Like is that like not an airspace violation? Anyway, it's awesome.
No, and it's perfect because it's a team that like you just need and want that energy for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
want. Yeah. You just. Imagine if they had Tyrese Halliburton
Right.
still. Like come on, he's awesome.
Yeah,
Pelicans are a sneaky 2 seed.
Yeah.
they are.
The fact that
Sneaky
I guess
2 seed.
you're playing them out of having like a lottery pick, but it would be crazy if the Lakers tanked and then they have this season and then also get to have a lottery pick.
Yeah.
Be unbelievable.
The
Terrifying.
the Spurs are doing the
Victor.
Yeah.
best Victor win.
No, what they did was they started off hot, like 6-2 or something,
And
so
They're
everyone's like,
0-10 in their last
yeah. So
10.
everyone's like, oh, they're not tanking at all. And then like you check back in a few weeks later, yeah, they're like 0-10 or
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean Utah's. Want to flip it around? They're 8 games. They're 8 games out of the last pick. They're a contender right now.
yeah. I would
yeah.
They're not a contender. They stink. But
I like them.
they had a nice little feisty start.
Like, okay,
have a
realistically,
great point guard.
realistically though, are they that much worse than like as a regular season team? Are they that much worse than the Kings or the Blazers or the Timberwolves? Like other teams that are gonna be fighting for playoff spots? Like they're not. And they have a good coach and some good young Lauri Markkanen, All-Star, MVP
Yeah, he looks
candidate.
awesome.
Like, I think they're too dug into this season already.
They're a team made up of like awesome third options, fourth
Yeah.
options.
Yeah.
Dang,
Oh,
the
we-
Celtics and Bucks are really that far ahead of everybody.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna-
that's the, you
that's
look
what I
at
want
it.
to talk about.
Yeah.
Because
Just
we had a big
gross.
debate in the NBA preview, Celtics or Bucks. I was all in on the Celtics. You two were all in on the Bucks. Now it's still the regular season, so I don't think anything can change.
I'm not
But
changing in my pick.
I'd still take the team with Giannis on it.
That's my
Yeah.
When it,
Tatum's awesome. Brown could be. I mean, I don't know. I haven't even followed
Brown's
him
been
that
really
much.
good.
I'm sure he's great, but like,
he's been
Phenomenal this
yeah,
year.
really
okay.
good recently.
never mind.
Yeah.
Withdrawn.
but like his finals, right? Like
Right.
I'm not changing anything. You got to let Middleton get right first before
Yeah,
you
yeah.
start
Oh,
forming
absolutely.
opinions on these two teams. I just hope they're healthy.
Yeah,
Honestly,
me
at
too.
that point, I just hope
Exactly.
they're
No, I
healthy when they
think
come
I
together.
think the league needs that series
Oh, that would be
I mean,
awesome.
just-
Incredible series.
because it's lining up for those two teams to just be going at it for a decade.
A while, yeah.
You know?
Sneakily, the core around Giannis is not super young.
No.
He's right in the peak of it, but Drew's a little older than you'd think.
Yep.
Middleton's a little older than you're thinking. Brooke Lopez, I don't know how the dude's still doing what he's doing.
He's a Depoy favorite right now.
Dude, he's playing phenomenal
Yeah.
basketball. Bobby
Yeah.
Portis is playing really well.
Yep.
Does Grayson Allen still play for
Yeah,
him?
I literally
Yeah.
just looked that up to check if he
That
did. That's
might
my guy. I
sway
love
my
him.
pick come June.
hate that
If
guy.
I know he's
Good dude.
playing minutes in that Eastern Conference Finals, I might pick the Celtics.
I think Grayson
Yeah.
Allen's a really good player. I'm a big believer in him. This is something about me is that if a player's been on the Grizzlies for longer than 3-4 months, I love him.
Okay, I was wondering where this was
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love him.
Even him?
Even him.
Like Duke fans
Especially,
hate him.
I
He
like
won them a
Duke.
national title, and Duke's fans still hate him.
Yeah.
I don't. I think he gets too much hate. Like he didn't do anything to Caruso. Like, come on.
He's terrible. I'm sorry, he's terrible.
He's a great shooter, good defender.
Give me
the
Pat
thing is, he
Bev all
can't
day.
defend anymore.
Yeah, that is true.
He
He never
he also
defend.
didn't.
He was
Also, last time I saw him in the playoffs, he couldn't shoot either.
That's fair.
He's a 6'2" guard. He can't defend.
He's a lot of heart. He's 6'4".
Who's he going to defend on the Boston Celtics in the
He
series?
does-
No, like seriously, he
Yeah,
doesn't play
yeah.
He got played
defense.
off the
Like
floor.
that's not what he does. He
Yeah.
didn't do it at Duke either. Like
Yeah.
That's why they have Javon
just
Carter.
be able to score. Yes, play him.
That-
He's
that-
awesome.
so
I
yeah,
love him.
Sneaky thing in the
He was a
playoffs
beast
last
Grizzlies
year.
guy
college,
too.
No,
too.
sneaky thing in the playoffs last year. Javon Carter was, I think, in the first two games was awesome for the Bucks, and then George Hill came back, And
Coach
Bud,
don't talk to me about George Hill in the playoffs.
Coach Bud was like, I have to get George Hill in this game. So who am I going to take out? Am I going to take out Javon Carter, who's been fantastic, or Grayson Allen, who's been terrible? I'm taking out Javon Carter.
Yeah.
George Hill had like a good run with Indiana in like the early 2010s, and people think he's like this wily NBA playoff veteran. He's atrocious in the playoffs. I had to sit through it for a year or two with the Cavs. It's awful.
He's got a lot of heart.
I mean, listen, he was traded for Kawhi Leonard, so he must have done something right. So
he's been washed for like 7 years.
Every time George Hill is still in the league, he's always on the Bucks, and he's always 38 years old.
All he had to do was hit a free throw, and J.R. Smith wouldn't have a brain fart.
That was pretty funny, though.
No, it wasn't. It ruined one of the greatest individual performances of all time.
That's why it's funny. Come on, it's like Matt Patricia ruining Tom Brady's Super Bowl.
It's terrible.
All right, real quick, I want to get to the Trae Young situation because Sam is a big Trae Young hater. And so
Since day one,
I want to give Sam his time to shine.
Is it because of Oklahoma?
Yes,
or
it's because of Oklahoma.
Who do you like the Horns? Hook'em? Yeah.
Big Texas guy.
Big Texas guy.
They're so back.
Best basketball team.
Alamo Bowl appearance?
Alamo
back
Bowl.
in the Alamo
Run
Bowl.
it back.
Come
The
on.
Alamo Bowl.
Run it back.
The Horns are back.
All right, so yes, Trae Young was coming back from an injury, and then he got into a spat with his head coach, Nate McMillan, before the game on Friday. It's a home game against the Nuggets, and apparently Nate McMillan was like, you're either coming off the bench or you don't play at all. And Trae Young said, I'll just stay home. And then he was asked about it. And then he did the classic, private things shouldn't be made public. Would you care to explain, Trae? No.
No.
And he just kept running circles around the questions.
Even though it wasn't a private thing, because it was him not showing up to a public game.
Yes.
And he said it was because he was hurt, even though he had like 3 injured teammates watching the game.
Yeah, no, like John Collins is at the game in a boot. But, but they have to trade John Collins.
Yeah,
they have to trade.
He's
They
the
have to
problem.
get him out.
They
I mean,
have
but
to get
they've
him
had
out.
to trade John Collins for 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he is on the All-NBA trade offers team. Like every year, it's got to trade him, got to trade him, got to trade him.
Yeah. It's always confusing why, because they're always a good team.
He's a good player.
I mean,
Yeah.
He's like right on the fringe of you had to pay him a little bit more than he's worth. And you're not quite sure that he fits your timeline, but he's too good to just throw away in any throwaway deal. Like you got to get the right value for him.
Yeah.
But teams don't want to overpay because you got to take on the contract. It just goes back and forth.
A little
And he ends up
18-y.
not getting traded. No, it's Miles Turner.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very similar. to
Miles Turner's on that
There's
team.
Yeah.
been
Those two.
trade rumors every single year.
Russ.
Yep.
This Lakers team, with the way Anthony Davis is playing, with Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, would probably win the Western
Don't do
Conference.
this to yourself.
Don't do this to yourself.
No, like seriously.
Okay.
We've had this conversation a dozen times.
No, but
off
like
the
there's
air, too.
actual evidence that the
Fine.
other pieces
Yeah,
they
fine.
would be
We agree
adding
with
them
you.
to.
Yes.
Say you agree with him.
I think Taylor and Horton Tucker is too valuable to give away.
Can't believe they.
Sam,
Yes?
2 sentences, or as long as you want on Trae Young.
This guy just stinks.
No.
Like, no, he does stink. He does. Because he does his best little Steph Curry impression, and he thinks he's Steph Curry, but he's not. Like, yes,
He acts tough when
he's up. Yes, he went into MSG against probably the most overrated Knicks team of the last 20 years. Thought he did something, and then got sauced. His team played better when he got hurt against Milwaukee. Gets sauced, gets bumped, and is now irrelevant. He's just a small
It's Miami.
What?
It's Miami.
I thought they
was
got bumped to
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
They beat
the
Philly,
playoffs?
lost to Milwaukee.
Oh, I thought we were
last
talking last
year.
year.
Last year they got cooked by Miami.
Yeah. No, but that was after the
Right, they
Yeah,
beat
you're
the
right, my
Sixers.
yeah.
They sent
beat
Ben
the
Simmons
Sixers.
into retirement.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now he's just another undersized guard that doesn't even try on defense. Say what you want about Donovan Mitchell. At least he tries on defense.
Yep.
He doesn't try. His teammates don't seem to like playing for him, as they shouldn't. He won't. He'll just walk up, like, cross the half-court line and shoot a 3 without ever, like... He does things like he's done something, but he hasn't done anything. The only thing he's done is gotten a coach fired, and that proved to be for the worse.
No.
Well,
Come
no,
on.
that
He
proved to be for the better
sucks.
because
Lloyd
of the-
Pierce is awful.
Yeah, that proved to be for the better. Nate McMillan's a much better coach.
That's fair.
He arguably shouldn't have even been out in Indiana, you could have argued.
Yes.
But
He's averaging 27.5 and 9.5 assists per game this year.
Yeah,
I know. Like, what's he done?
I mean, he's a pretty good point guard. Yeah, Hawks have one of the hardest strength of schedules in the league. I was looking at that the other night, just trying to see if I could like use that as like Grizzlies propaganda. No, we're like doing what we should be. But Hawks have really hard strength of schedule. I think Trae Young's good at basketball. I'm from Atlanta and not a Hawks fan, and my good friends are Hawks fan. And we used to have the Ja Trae debate, and it's fun that we don't have to anymore. But he's good, and he's a really good passer. And he's a good scorer, and he doesn't play defense. And I think the fact that he doesn't play defense makes him not as good as he has. Like, he is really good, except for the fact that his defense just kind of ruins the fact that he's so good on offense.
I also would argue he's not even a great shooter. He hits the 35-footer. He's shooting 29.6% from three this year.
He's never been a good. He's never been a good efficiency 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
The thing is that because he can shoot from deep, he has like the stretch impact on the defense to a degree.
Yeah.
If you're really game planning, he doesn't, which is what happened in Miami last year.
Yep.
But
hey, if the season ended today, second round matchup, Hawks Celtics, sweep.
Think they'd get to the second round?
Who's the 5?
The 5 is actually no, they wouldn't. They'd lose to the Pacers in the first round.
Let's go Pacers.
They'd lose to the Pacers in the first round.
A lot of surprise teams.
The Pacers are so fun.
Yeah,
They're so
really
fun.
Tyrese Halliburton is
Halliburton's
awesome.
incredible.
All-star.
The Nimhart game last night.
Yep.
Anybody see the Nimhart game?
Yeah, he just
In Steph's
fried
face,
Steph Curry.
like come on.
fried Steph Curry.
There's a new best point guard in the NBA.
Matherin's
he
came out. He said,
unbelievable.
"There's no proof LeBron's better than me," and then he went and beat LeBron James.
Scored more than
LeBron James.
There is no evidence.
There is no evidence right now.
Indeed, better than Benedict Mathurin. Hey,
Yeah.
that was my. I think that was my dark horse rookie of the year.
Yeah. Can I just say this
gotta
rookie
check back
class
on
is
my
just so
predictions.
fun.
Phenomenal.
It's just
Amazing.
so
really good.
Paolo's unreal.
Paolo's unreal.
Jabari Smith's good.
Yep.
Imagine if we had Chet this year.
Jabari Smith's had a tough year.
Yeah, but
He's still
He'll
really
turn
good.
it
So
around,
good, yeah.
I'm sure, but there have been some really good rookies. How's
Yeah.
Keegan Murray doing? Do we know?
he's doing
I
all right.
had.
I like Keegan Murray this
Ivy's
year.
great.
Ivy's
great.
yeah, little inefficient right now, but
Right,
he's a rookie,
but
so you're
yeah,
not
he is
worried
the
about that.
flashes.
We also kind of
Exactly.
knew that going in.
Yeah.
He's got the kind of volume scoring.
And like on the Pistons, he kind of has to be that guy, so they're gonna just give him the rock and let him go to work.
Here's the Russ job on
Bogdan-
guard thing where he's
Bogdan-
just explosive.
Bogdanovich, yeah.
Bogdanovich.
Or no, Bojan. Sorry, that's Bojan.
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 I've honestly stopped trying to figure out which one's which.
Bogdan's in Atlanta.
They're actually unrelated and from different
Yeah.
countries. Is a fun fact.
Is that
Yeah.
true?
I figured
The
that out
Pistons
recently.
guy is a bucket.
The Pistons guy is
Yeah, Bojan's a bucket.
Bojan. I like Bogdan.
Bogdan
is
started
why.
off hotter. When he was in
Bogey,
Sacramento.
as he's called
Where's
in
Boban?
Atlanta.
Boban?
Oh yeah,
where is
'cause he
Boban?
Oh
moves.
shoot, they just played Philly too.
Boban is Houston.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
okay. That's
I want
sad.
him on a contender.
Yeah,
I want him in Dallas. I actually
Why?
don't want him on a contender. I just want him in Dallas so him and Luka can be friends again.
No,
He
why
was
him
him and
Philly, so
Toby.
he and
Him and
Toby.
Toby.
Yeah, him and
Bobby
Tobias
and Toby.
Harris.
Can be
Yeah.
friends.
That's fair. That was a
Did
very
you
wholesome
see his
friendship.
scene in John Wick?
yes,
It's
where he
pretty
was
good.
one of the
John Wick
henchmen.
kills him with a library book. It's a great.
But he
scene.
put up a great fight,
It's a
you
great
know.
scene. Yeah, I think he stabs him.
Yeah,
John Wick?
He stabs
in
John
the
Wick.
library.
Yeah, John Wick gets
Does he
stitched up.
play Boban in the movie?
No,
He was just like
plays
big
a
henchman,
massive
big
assassin.
European guy.
Boban's in 2 movies. That one, he's in Hustle as well.
He is,
Oh
isn't
yeah, yeah.
he?
Way
He is.
to go, Boban.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, he's got a whole career lined up after this whole
He's
basketball
got that
thing.
IMDb page
Yeah,
to the max.
exactly. Is there anything else NBA related we
A
want
real
to talk
O.J.
about?
Simpson of his time
what?
in acting terms.
Acting.
Oh. Anything else NBA?
Oh, Kawhi and Paul George came back, and it was just enough to put them over the hump to beat the Hornets.
Oh God, yeah.
Kawhi had to hit a game winner.
At
Hornets.
what point do we start talking about Kawhi like we talk about like Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway?
Now,
Like the thing
Who's
is,
been on this?
have you?
Yes.
It's it's like
Yeah.
I think it's exactly like Penny.
well, it's
Well,
not
the
exactly
difference- he won
like
a
because
chip.
he was
He won a
able,
chip,
he was
yeah.
able
Yeah.
to hold on long enough
Yeah.
to have a couple of
Yeah.
runs.
True.
Penny did make a final.
I guess he had two, right? He had two. He's 2 Finals MVPs now
Yep.
with 2 different. Like
Yeah, okay.
that puts
the
him.
First one though was like
The first one was just because he was the guy that was.
I mean,
he guarded
he-
LeBron.
I was
mean,
I
he
was a
locked
Grizzlies
down.
fan back then. I was a Grizzlies fan back then, and we played them in a tough series, and he looked like the best player in the world. Like he was unreal.
Yeah, but in that finals, it was
LeBron
clear that
averaged 29 on like 57% shooting, and they gave it to the guy who guarded him.
They must have
Gave
gotten
it to the guy who won.
They
Come
must
on,
have gotten
dude.
a lot of switches on
Yeah.
Kawhi. I don't remember him scoring a single time on Kawhi. That's
You
what history.
don't
That's what
remember-
history's
You
going to
don't
show.
remember any single individual bucket from that series because it was a decade ago.
That's not true.
2014.
That might be true.
I just remember
that- was
Boris
that the-
Diaw
wait,
cooking the
I
Heat.
love
That's
Boris
all I
Diaw.
Which was the
remember.
year where Mike Miller hit the 3 with one shoe?
That was the year before.
I remember
That
a
was
lot of
that
shots
was
from the year
that was
before.
the other one. When Kawhi, by the way, absolutely gagged at the free throw line in Game 6. Gets lost.
he
to
was young.
history. Nah, he
He
was
was
young.
young.
He choked.
no, we can't both
That's all
sides.
it
of this.
is.
Think about the Kawhi over the Sixers buck. I saw that the other day.
That was a travel, by the way.
No, it
Oh,
wasn't.
oh my God, Sam.
That's just one of the
I
greatest.
forgot you hate
Think about
Kawhi
that.
Leonard.
Yeah.
You have a guy who has
That's
2
so
Finals
funny.
MVPs, one of the greater playoff shots of all
Yeah.
time. He's so good, and it sucks that like he's never gonna be that good again. Like at this point, he could retire, and I don't think he would like. I don't think it would change the things that you would look at when you look at like him going into the Hall of Fame.
Interesting.
I don't think anything he plays in his career past this point will be like really looked at for like who he is as a player, and I think that's enough to put him like top 50.
Well, I don't
all
think he
time.
can hurt his career, his legacy.
No, I
Right.
Yeah.
That part's over. He
Yeah.
can help it if he is able to get back on the
Yeah.
court.
Right.
If he
I
can
just
stay
don't
healthy.
think he will. He
Yeah.
he
I mean,
totally could.
The Basketball Hall of Fame is like
Like Jaylen Brown's in it.
No.
No,
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 he isn't.
no,
No, he
he's
isn't.
not.
No,
he's
he
not.
has shoes in the Hall of Fame.
Oh well,
Uh.
yeah.
I mean, like actually, like
Yeah.
putting people in
Right.
the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like, I'm too tired to come up with a
It's-
good analogy
no.
here, but they let everyone and their mother into
Yeah.
that.
I mean, part of it
if
is
you're
the
a good
fact that
high school
it's-
player, you could probably
Yeah,
make
part
it
of
to
it's
the Hall
that
of
it
Fame.
includes high school and college, but yeah, no, you get into the Hall of Fame pretty. One Finals MVP, you're in the
Now,
Hall of Fame.
I'm not saying he wouldn't be deserving anyway. Like by
Yeah.
my NFL Hall of Fame criteria, which is much stricter, I'd still let him in.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
all
totally.
time, literally,
No,
right.
legit, a
I
legit
think you
all time
should.
great, like a legit
Yeah.
top 35, 40 player
Yeah,
of all
totally. No
time.
question.
Just the longevity just would be the only argument, but because for basketball that's not necessarily the case. First ballot, no problem.
Yeah.
I consider him all time great.
Oh,
One
me
of the,
too.
The greats of this era. So I was having
Absolutely.
this debate with. Oh yeah, big time debate amongst the Bowdoin football players recently. Steph Curry or Luka Doncic, who's a better player right now?
Steph Curry. Steph Curry's playing out of his mind right now.
No,
Luka Magic.
Luka's better.
I think Luka's better. Steph's awesome. And I hate him sometimes, but you can't really hate Steph. But like,
Yeah, you can.
you think?
I hate Steph.
I don't
You
know.
don't.
He's such a good guy.
I
Come
really
on.
want
He's
to.
such a good guy. Yeah, I want to too. I really want to, but you can't.
I mean, there are times when I've gotten annoyed with him, but that's
Right.
when he's playing the Celtics.
Yeah, when he's playing your team,
Yeah.
you're like, God, this guy sucks. But he's such a good guy. Clay, on the other hand, hate him.
I hate him.
Um,
I'm starting.
I hate
I'm
Clay.
starting to turn on Clay just a little bit,
He thinks he's so much better than
just
he
a
is.
little bit.
Well, yeah,
He's
but, like,
washed. He'll never be good.
He
again.
somehow
got hurt.
He somehow lost a
I won't
trash
turn-
talk argument with Devin Booker.
Yeah, but
Which is
like
tough.
he got
That,
hurt.
you know how hard that
and
is.
I'm
to
not
do?
people are
turning on
turning
Clay.
on
I'm
him.
not turning on Clay.
And he's just
I
like,
have turned.
at least give me the respect to like
Yeah.
try to get back in rhythm. Like he's not claiming.
It's like I'm a
that
generational
yeah, but you
shooter.
gotta-
I've won 4 titles. Like, give me some respect. And people are just clowning him because it's the first time he's looked bad.
I'm not going to
since
clown
he-
him for looking
no.
bad.
Yes, you are. Because
No, I'm not.
I'm clowning him for talking the way he talks when he looks
Same.
bad. And it's annoying to be like real good players don't bring up the past when they're not playing well.
So he's not a real like. He's a generational shooting.
No,
talent.
he is. But I'm saying like somebody that's of an like a higher caliber than him in the NBA. Like if LeBron's in a slump, LeBron's not going, look at me, I've won 5 rings. Like that's not something you do. Steph Curry, if he's in a slump, he's not
Well, yeah,
gonna
but-
point at his rings.
No,
Well,
but
no
he's-
one's trying to equate Klay Thompson to that. Like we know he's just a very good secondary shooter, perfect 3-and-D guy.
I've said this, greatest role player of all time.
Yeah.
That's what he is to me.
So when he is now, people are just literally preying on his downfall because he looks human and not like a robotic shooting machine for the first time in his career. I feel like he has the right to kind of defend himself and be like, look at my resume. Like, what have you done, Devin
No,
Booker?
Draymond is insufferable.
Yes.
That's the
That's
argument.
true,
The
yeah.
argument you guys are making
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
Clay goes to Draymond.
Yep.
What Clay's saying is, I've built up the respect and the legacy in this league and earned the benefit of the doubt. And if you're going to step to me, like, I'm going to fire back, and I've accomplished a whole hell of a lot more in this sport than you probably ever will. So watch who you're talking to. He doesn't have to be able to then give the guy 40 to back that up. Like, he's established what he is. And what he is a Hall of Famer. Like, we'll see what Devin Booker does. Again, he'll probably get grandfathered in because he averaged 25 points for a while.
Don't forget when
there's no legacy. There's not going to be any legacy attached to that name.
Don't forget when he went for 70 in a loss.
He did, and they wrote it on the paper.
Yeah, but Devin Booker could get carried if he was on that Warriors team, the way that Clay did.
Clay didn't get carried, though. Clay bailed that Warriors team out in 2016.
If you sub out Clay for Devin Booker, they're losing all of those finals.
Every
single one.
Every single one?
Every single one.
They could get 2 out of 4.
Actually, they're not the KD ones. Not the KD ones. Like, let's relax. Let's not go overboard to the point where we're losing our
rationality,
our integrity here. But Clay was the preeminent D&3 player of a generation, in a generation where outside of your go-to scorer, that was the most important basketball commodity you could have.
Yeah.
You put him next to LeBron James for the extended period of time. No, I'm just saying, like, he's the type of player that fits with the greats of the era more so than literally anyone else.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like, Steph having him attached to his hip is a huge part of why he's sitting on 4 rings.
Yeah, I'll walk back the hate.
It always comes back.
Draymond, though.
Yeah, Draymond. Don't get me started.
Dirty player.
Don't
really
get me
dirty
started.
player.
Shout out Draymond for becoming like the biggest LeBron supporter of all time.
It's just that was the most bizarre.
It's
like,
so funny.
Like the clip of him on whatever that show was from this past week.
Is it his one or no?
No, it was somebody else's, and they asked him to rank the top 5 players.
Yeah.
And he LeBron and then defends LeBron against Jordan. It was great.
That, though. We need more of that.
He was right, 100%.
LeBron's the best player of all time.
It's just, I still can't get over the clip from the preseason where he goes over to LeBron, and then there's Andre Iguodala and all the other Warriors guys on the bench.
Oh, no.
I don't think I can describe what they were doing on the podcast,
it was good.
It had me in shambles for a week at least.
It was so funny.
I forgot that he punched Jordan Poole in the face until right now.
Oh, the documentary.
I forgot about that. Yeah, the TNT rehab, so they don't look as bad when they bring him on as an analyst in 2 years.
The world has seen my worst moment. Look at the upside, or whatever he said.
What else is funny is Draymond literally fought in the finals, and it cost Draymond a championship. And then they're just like, we're good, business partners now.
That's
what's really funny.
That's what always gets me.
It's so funny.
The best thing about it though is you never hear like LeBron talking about Draymond Green as a basketball player.
Yeah, no, never,
never. Not once.
So funny.
All right, I think we should wrap it up there for our NBA segment, which leaves just one final segment remaining.
The final segment. I don't know if I can.
No soccer.
No soccer.
Man, you better be careful what you say in this segment. You're on thin ice right now.
I know him.
Better be a good send-off.
You'll later. It's funny.
All right, Sam send-off by Sam. Go ahead.
Mike alluded to this a little bit before.
Oh, boy.
With the Texas freaking Alamo Bowl showing.
Right.
So I just wanted to... So Texas made a national championship game appearance in 2010. I want to list you the bowl games that Texas has played in.
Is that Colt? The Colt year?
It was the Colt year.
So much.
Love Colt too. Oh, let's go, Mark.
Did you ever get your jersey back?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
They lost that game, right? Just to clarify.
Because Colt's hand was broke.
But did they lose the game?
Yes.
It's not important. What was the final? Do you remember the final score?
It was closer than you would actually think.
They've played in how many New Year's Six bowls? Oh, you're going to get to it.
All right, go ahead.
They had that one against Georgia.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. All right, so in 2010, they played a national championship game. In 2011, they played in the Holiday Bowl. Since then, 2000.
Sorry, start over. Holiday Bowl and what?
National Championship 2010.
Okay.
In 2012, Alamo Bowl. In 2013, Alamo Bowl.
Remember it.
In 2014, Texas Bowl. 2015 and 16.
Did they win the Texas Bowl?
I think.
That's
low.
Oh, they lost the Texas Bowl.
I think so. I don't know.
Well, they probably played.
I feel like they played Arkansas. I don't think Texas loses a lot of bowl games. That's the thing.
Yeah, because they get all the teams that don't want to be there.
In 2015 and 2016, Texas was
got blown. Okay, they lost 31-7 in the Texas Bowl.
Arkansas.
Which year?
2014.
Okay.
Charlie Strong.
Fine. Oh, I like Charlie Strong.
Me too.
In 2015 and 2016, Texas was not bowl eligible. In 2017, they again played in the Texas Bowl. In 2018, they were not bowl eligible. In 2019, they played in the Alamo Bowl. Wait.
No,
it
you
says
missed
two.
the Georgia one.
Yeah.
No, there were 2.
Oh, wait. It says that it says on this Wikipedia page 2019 Alamo Bowl, 2019 Sugar Bowl.
Yeah. What happened here?
What's up with
so
that?
2019 was that was January 1st, 2019. So that's really 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
what happened. So 2017 was Texas Bowl. 2018 was
Sugar
Bowl. That was
Yeah.
the we're back
The
here.
Georgia, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a Georgia team that did not want to be there. 2019 was Alamo Bowl. 2020 was Alamo Bowl.
And now, coming off their best season in a while,
Texas football will be playing in the Alamo Bowl
Alamo Bowl.
Remember it.
Hook 'em.
against Washington.
Ooh,
It's a decent game that no one will watch.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I got a question for you, Georgia.
No, I'm not
fan.
done.
Oh. All right.
Let's do more Texas.
It's not Texas.
Okay.
right.
What is it?
I had a dream.
Okay.
So, well, that sounds like I'm ripping off. I not trying to.
What was your dream, Sam?
Yeah.
I had a dream that the Orange Bowl could feature 2 orange teams this year.
Yeah.
You did
That's
have
true.
this dream.
That is true.
I
This
had
is
this
true.
dream many months ago.
Really?
Many moons ago.
Many moons.
Who did you think it would? Did you think it would be these 2 teams?
I hope Texas would be one of those teams. They were not.
Syracuse might have looked like they would have been back in.
But
Yeah.
now we have Clemson and Tennessee
We do have orange.
in the Orange
the
Bowl.
Orange Bowl.
And if they both wear their orange jerseys, the scenes.
They have to have them both wear the orange jerseys.
They're gonna have either Clemson wear purple, or Tennessee do the black ones.
They
Both
should-
of which
That
would be
would-
awesome.
No, that would be low. You got to go white and orange. Which they're
Yeah.
not gonna
what
do
if they
either.
went-
You're
They're not
right,
gonna do,
but like
yeah.
that just
What if-
yeah. Don't throw orange in it or
Dude,
purple
I'm-
in the orange.
You gotta
bowl,
give me.
like,
You gotta give me orange and orange. Just
No,
I like the
utter
Tennessee
chaos.
white ones, and they can do the
or
checkerboard.
at least orange pants white and then the flip for the other
Yeah.
team.
Ooh, that would be
It's
awesome.
like someone's gonna
both
get
teams.
decapitated if that's the jersey. Like, some receiver's gonna be going across the middle and be like, "Oh, nice, I have a blocker in front of me." Smash.
Just die. All right. That's all I had. I
Okay.
just 2 great funny things.
All right,
Yes.
so we're gonna have a monster CFP preview coming up, but I do have a question for the Georgia fan.
Yeah.
What's up with Stetson Bennett?
What is up with him?
How do you feel about Stetson Bennett?
What's up
'Cause
with
this
him?
guy drives
Yeah.
me nuts. Really? I was on this last. You
Come
guys
on.
remember? I almost. I rooted-
he's not that good. Is that your thing?
no, I don't. I think he's literally college football's Jimmy Garoppolo.
Whoa, hold on. That's
He's
feels disrespectful to
chaperoning
Jimmy
one of
G,
the best
considering
rosters.
what you're gonna say.
He's chaperoned one of the best rosters we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
The last 2 years.
Yeah.
I essentially was rooting for. I'm an Auburn fan, by the way, a big Auburn
Sorry.
fan. I was
War down.
essentially rooting for Alabama in a national title game because Stetson Bennett pissed me off so much last year.
What
There's no
pissed him off?
rational. Actually, what pissed me off
Sorry,
was that he
pissed you
lost
off.
to Alabama the year before.
Yeah.
And that's what made me mad. So then I rooted for Alabama the next time. It makes no sense.
No, I get
But
it.
are you a big Stetson Bennett guy? He's a Heisman finalist
Yeah.
this year. I think he's a lot better than I ever gave
Yeah.
him credit for. But
I think.
How is he
I
a
mean,
Heisman
you gotta love him. I think you have to, because I think of his the last year. I think this reminds me of, and I'm gonna pivot entirely. It reminds me of a little bit of a, This is a very random niche example, but Kihei Clark on the Virginia team. He's a guy who's good, and he comes back for I think his 5th year. And you're kind of you're great and all, but you're kind of taking up space that somebody else should be on. So I think last year Stetson, I love him. I think he deserved that. I think that's a really cool thing for him to do. And I think you're kind of why not go out on top? Why not go out winning the national championship, bringing Georgia back up to the caliber that, as a Georgia fan, you are so close to being in the past 10 years so often, and just get beat by Bama in the SEC championship time and time again. I think he could have walked off last year and been an unbelievably great Georgia Bulldog up there with Aaron Murray, legend. And then he comes back this year, and you're kind of all right, well, you're gonna make one of our good QBs transfer, go in the portal because you don't get enough playing time. But he's done everything he can do, and I think you can, the Heisman thing. People are pissed because they're come on, he doesn't put in Blake Corum, put in Hendon Hook, put in all these guys over him. I don't know. I mean, he is undefeated, and I know it's the argument is the whole rest of the Georgia team is so good, but I think the difference between him and a Jimmy Garoppolo is that he's undefeated, and he's been undefeated. They lost to Bama last year, but
He's just Mac Jones 2.0.
It's college football, though.
he's carrying them through. And I know it's college football, but I think he's going to continue to carry him through against Ohio State, and I think he's going to carry him through whoever they play next. Like, it's like Michigan probably. But yeah, I think we'll probably win. We look really good. It's the rest of the roster, and sure, you can make the argument that he's getting carried through, but like, if he really wasn't that good, he would do something to compromise it, I think, because it's not necessarily even that like he makes good throws. Like I was at the Georgia Tech game over Thanksgiving, and it started out pretty rocky, but he made really good throws. Like he looks great. And I think the reassuring thing is that if something happens, you have two good quarterbacks sitting behind him, that it's the same thing as like Alabama that year where whoever, I think was it Tua went out and Bryce went in, or the opposite.
It was Hurts went out, Tua
went in, right. And you're like, you have a great guy to take over. Like I think Georgia, it's not the same caliber, but Georgia, it's the same thing. You plug someone in. But I'm happy for him. I like him, and I don't think he makes us worse.
I'm a big like Heisman truther legacy. Like I only want to see the cream of the crop in New York.
Oh,
for the
I
Heisman
can't
show.
stand he's at the Heisman ceremony.
It
drives me nuts.
I hate that. Like Corum and Hooker are just better football players. And the Heisman Trophy,
better seasons.
And the Heisman Trophy is always, it's not who's the best player on the best team, right? It's who is the best player in a competitive team in college football. And both of those guys answer that question more than he does, for me at least. And that's not to take away from what Georgia's accomplished. Anyone watching college football can tell you that Georgia's far and away the best team this year. But it's not because of their quarterback being an X-factor player.
So to be objective here, like I gave my little Stetson Bennett tirade. I'm not personally a huge fan. But like objectively, like he's a walk-on. So he's not super talented. He's worked for everything he has. If I was a walk-on and I got the type of hate and disrespect that he did, and then I was balling out like this on this Georgia team, like I'd be smirking at the camera. I'd be making fun of fans too. Like I'd be acting out the same way.
The last player that did that was Baker Mayfield.
Don't even put him on that clown's level. He doesn't. He's not cocky.
No.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but like Stetson's not like smirking at the kid. Like he's keeps to himself for the most part. Like he'll come. He did the thing with Tennessee because they leaked his phone number.
Yeah, that was
like,
awesome.
That's
almost
so
flipped,
cool.
Almost flipped my entire Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
But my thing, I don't know where I went with all this stuff, but the Heisman thing does bother the crap out of me because we're being fair. He's a 25-year-old who's chaperoning the best team in college football, the national champion. He threw 20 touchdowns with basically an NFL roster around him. Oh, yeah. No, he didn't actually produce that much either. He literally just showed up and won football games with the best roster in the country. And spoiler, I'm probably going to pick him to win the national champion. So I agree that he's not.
He won't hurt you.
He's not good enough.
Well, hold on. He more than likely won't hurt you. But if they do lose the national championship, it will be because of him.
That's fair.
That's the weak link. That's my Jimmy Garoppolo comparison, is that he's good enough to win at a really, really high level. They won the national championship last year with him as their starting quarterback, so can't take that away. But to the extent that there's a weakness on the best team in the country, it's their quarterback. You can argue right now to the extent there's a weakness on the best constructed roster in the NFL. Jimmy's now hurt, obviously, but it was him, obviously and clearly. So I was rubbed the wrong way that Corum or Hooker didn't make it. I know they both got injured, but their bodies of work beforehand were well. I mean, I would even argue for your guy, Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Just the production.
Bijan.
You have to hit the production thing at some point, and then you can argue about the winning stuff. But, I mean, 20 touchdowns is just not that many.
Yeah. My one thing, I think that's fair, but my one thing is that can you really call it a weakness when he hasn't been – when he hasn't showed any of that weakness? Sure, he's not as good as somebody in his shoes might be, but I'm not sure he's, been weak per se. Sure he hasn't, but there's never been, a time where, George, we struggled in that game against, I forget, it was an embarrassing game. I think Missouri. We struggled against Missouri, week 6 or 5 or something. But I really think, apart from that game, there hasn't been, a real, weak-looking Georgia team at all.
Well, so the argument with him being the weakness is not saying that he individually is weak. It's that the rest of the team is so good that he is by default, the quarterback position is the worst position on that roster right now because the rest of the units are just so freaking loaded. And we have seen the games he's lost as a starter, and we go back to last year in the SEC championship game, and I think it was Bama the year before that. They lost because he couldn't cut it as a downfield passer. Now, they did win the national championship. You have to give him credit. He played very well in that game. But the 2 weeks before that, or a month before that, when they played Alabama in the SEC championship, he was asked to win a shootout because Bama had their 2 track star wide receivers there. He couldn't cut it in that scenario. Now, I don't think he faces a team this year. Actually, I don't want to spoil it too much, but this Ohio State team.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're getting deep into college football for the college football podcast we're having soon.
I'm only talking about Stetson Bennett. This is a very specific thing.
Spending way too much time on Stetson Bennett.
Well,
we have a Georgia fan in the building.
Yeah,
That's fair.
this is
That's fair.
Go Dogs.
I believe Georgia is playing in the college football championship, not the Alamo Bowl, so we have to talk about them.
All I was saying is that I don't think he's a bad player at all. But he's more than proven me wrong on that front. But if they were to lose a game, I think the scenario would be shootout, and he's not able to keep up with his arm. That would be
fair.
why I consider him the Achilles heel to the extent they have one, and they may not have one. It may never show, but if they do, it'll be him.
Can I send us off quickly once more?
Sure.
Quick Bijan Robinson Heisman plug.
Okay.
No. This is actually
a waste of time.
This is a waste of time.
Listen to this.
Okay.
Blake Corum is allegedly
my
the consensus number 1 running back in the country, right? Him and Bijan Robinson have the same number of carries. Bijan has more yards, the same number of touchdowns, and a higher average.
Okay.
And listen to how Bijan
Mickey Mouse Conference.
Listen to how
I was just going to say that.
Listen to how Bijan ended the season. You ready? 179 and 2, 243 and 4, 209 and 1, and 140 and 1.
Dude, he's the best. Look, Corum had the better season when he was healthy.
Yes.
For a better team.
Yes.
Bijan Robinson is the best running back in the country. I've never swayed from that.
I just want to make sure that we were clear on that.
Corum was running behind a wagon of an offensive line.
Now, Corum's number 2. Don't get me wrong.
All due respect to him.
Yeah.
But
they don't.
If you step out the door and your backup, and you're not your backup, but your number 2 drops a 200 piece on Ohio State, I'm not going to look at you and be like, yeah, man, like you're some like phenom. Like, Bijan Robinson could probably go for 350 behind that offensive line. Like, well, that's all right. He's more than deserving of Heisman. Like, hey, like let's acknowledge he's good at football, but he shouldn't be in New York.
I think we should end it there. But I'll give Mark the chance for the final word. Anything you want to say? Anything. You have anything?
Go Grizz. You know, I want to talk about the Tyus Jones legacy cementing game from last night. Play the Miami Heat, you know, a healthy Heat. He doesn't look good this season.
Yeah.
No Ja, resting him. No Jaren, resting him. This type of game that, you know, if you're going to do load management, which Grizzlies don't usually do. I kind of hate the load management thing. Ruins it for the fans. You know, packed FedEx Forum there to see some Memphis Hustle players play. Tyus Jones goes off 28, 10, 5. Like Sam said earlier, you know, he said that thing. He said, I feel like I'm a starter in this league, even though I come off the bench. Mm-hmm. Very lucky to have that caliber backup point guard, be a backup point guard. And, you know, he'll be a starter eventually. He'll go somewhere. He'll get his flowers. So Tyus Jones legacy game last night, 8-point win over the Miami Heat. Love it.
There you go. All right. We're going to end it there. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks for coming on, Mark.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Very excited to have you, and I think it was a great episode. Subscribe, leave a like, review, comment, all that good stuff. Tell your friends.
I hope Sam survives till the next episode.
Mike might hurt me.
If Sam's not here next week,
it might be a 3-man. We're planning on a 4-man. It might be a 3-man college football preview show.
Reminder about the high kick competition.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know how that goes.
Yes. You'll have to update the people.
How do we do this?
You're going to stand in front of me.
Andrew wants us to cut.
We're going to figure that out figure it out off the air. We're going to end it there.
This is what podcasts were made for.
No, it's not. No, it's not. End the show.
Thank you guys so much.